Well, good morning. Welcome once again to our Wonderful Day in the Lord broadcast. For the last several months now, we've been going through the Old Testament in what we've called a biblical Route 66. There are 66 books in the Bible, and we have been looking at each of those books one at a time, so that now we have finished the Old Testament. And in each of these Old Testament books, we've given you a key word and a key verse. We've been trying to do a number of things with our broadcast. One is to help you see what's in the Old Testament and eventually in the New Testament, just to give you a taste and overview. Secondly, to help you to develop your own habit of being in the Word every day, and we hope that this has been helpful to some. Perhaps also some of you with the family situation. You're using these as family devotional times to get your whole family in the Word, 5 minutes or so in the morning, and then maybe a little further for the family itself and other discussions or prayer or whatever. That would be a wonderful thing to do with your family. So we're doing a number of things with our broadcast. This week we're going to go back, and since we're trying to memorize a key verse and a key word, going through this is a little bit more difficult, especially as we put on more and more books. So we're going to go back, give you a chance to catch up, give you a chance to review, and also just put all this together comprehensively. So we're going to have a 5-part series this week, and we'll just go as far as we can each day and pick it up the next day. And when we're done, you'll have one comprehensive section that you can go back to here with these 5 videos and get a good, quick overview of the Old Testament. We start, first of all, with the first book of the Bible, Genesis, and our key word, of course, was beginnings. And I have a little journal here. I've been writing all this down in, all my notes, and I have the things we're going to be looking at this week all lined up. So that's how I'm going to do it, and that's how I do it. So I would encourage you to do something similar, whatever might fit you. But Genesis, the key word was beginnings, and the key verse was the first verse. In the beginning, God created. That followed with Exodus. Exodus was the people of Israel coming out of Egypt by God's hand. And our key word is deliverance. And our key verse is chapter 20, verse 2, as the law of God is being given to the people of Israel. Leviticus is the third book on our docket, and that is a book that is avoided by a lot of people because there's so much there about sacrifices and some of the Old Testament laws that don't directly pertain to us today. But the key word is holiness, because the thrust of the book is that we are to be holy because God is holy. And that was what he was teaching his people Israel in the Old Testament. That verse of Scripture, which is found in 19:2 and is our key word, or our key verse, is also quoted in the New Testament. We are to be holy because God is holy. The next book is Numbers, and Numbers details the wanderings, and that's our key word, wanderings. The people of Israel are wandering in the wilderness, and they're wandering because of sin. It wasn't the original intention for them to wander in the wilderness for 40 years. They were really pretty much to take a beeline from Mount Sinai, where they got the law, straight into the land of promise that God had given them. But because they rebelled against God, they made idols, they resisted, they mumbled, they grumbled. God says, I'm not going to take this generation into my land. It'll be the next generation that'll go in. And so that generation that left Egypt all died out except for anybody over 20, except for 2 men, Joshua and Enoch, because of their sinfulness. So wanderings well describes what was going on there. Chapter 6, verse 24 was our key verse in that passage of Scripture, in that book of Scripture. Deuteronomy is next, the last of the books of Moses, and this is a reminder, and that's our key word, is reminder or reminders. Moses is reminding the people of what they needed to know before they went into the promised land. So these are given to Israel just before they enter the land. 6:5 is our key verse. Joshua takes our people into the land, and our key word is success. If ever the people of Israel were successful for a time, it was then. Joshua 1:8 tells them if they would meditate on the law of the Lord, they would have good success. And for the most part, they did. But then we follow that up with Judges, and Judges is failures. That's the key word. It is a nation that failed miserably because they turned away from God. And 21:25 says they did what was right in their own eyes, and that's why they failed. But we're also given the little book of Ruth, and Ruth is a book about redemption. And it reminds us that here are people living in the age of the judges when almost everybody was doing what was right in their own eyes. But there were a few that were godly, a few that followed the Lord. And it talks in his book about the redemption that God gives his people that follow him. And our key verse there is chapter 4 and verse 14. So there's our first several books of the Old Testament. And we will pick it up tomorrow with the book of 1 Samuel and look at the history of Israel during that time. We'll see you tomorrow.